What does this country think in the face of that? I know what they would like to happen. They would like us to ignore it because it's convenient to them. I will not be surprised if they come with something today and say, or they had the opportunity to come and say, we have determined it is not so by experts of their own choosing. Mr. Speaker, I want to draw to the attention of members opposite who are shouting at me. When Richard Nixon found himself, a Republican Party leader, president, White House, found himself in trouble, his colleagues didn't all rally around him and say, we will defend you, whatever. They said, this warrants an investigation. And the investigation proceeded at length from stage to stage, even through the U.S. Supreme Court, even as the president was seeking to mislead the country. And Mr. Speaker, let me tell you what the summary of that was. The contents of this tape, and I'm quoting here from Wikipedia, the contents of this tape persuaded Nixon's own lawyers, Fred Buzzard and James Sinclair, that, and they're quoting the lawyer here, the tape proved that the president had lied to the nation, to his closest aides, and to his own lawyers for more than 2 years. That's what it proved. A president lying to his own lawyer and to the country for more than 2 years, and it was only when it was shown that there wasn't enough votes in the Senate for him to stay on that he stayed. Mr. Speaker, I am here to ask this House, to express a lack of confidence in this government, on the basis that this government is not of the Mother Teresa variety. Had this government been of the Mother Teresa variety, we would have given them the benefit of the doubt. But this government has a record and it's not pleasant. And what we are dealing with here falls into the mode of what this government has been doing recently. This is a government that declared a state of emergency, knew that there was no evidence to arrest people, and had 8,000 people arrested in this country and put in jail for 3 months. This, Mr. Speaker, I know from facts. This is a government led by a prime minister who had the ability to find out and know that there was no assassination threat to her life, and ensured that 14 Muslim people were jailed in this country to prove the point that there was a plot. And a number of ministers' names were called in the hoax of a plot. And the only thing that came out of that plot of the assassination of the Prime Minister was that ministers who were then thought to be part of the target group got security and blue lights, and they maintain them to this day. And interestingly enough, that's why we're sending this investigation now to Officer Richardson of the assassination plot team. This opposition, Mr. Speaker, will settle for nothing less than an independent investigation of people, including we have not only the Integrity Commission and the power to get help, but we have arrangements in place where we can, through the Integrity Commission or otherwise as we treat it, invoke the technical abilities of persons or countries abroad who can provide us with the requisite technical expertise so that we can look into this matter, into its dark recesses, to be able one day soon to be able to say, on the basis of independent analysis, independent probing, we have found that this has no basis, or that we have found that it has, and there are people to be held accountable. What this country cannot countenance is people who are supposed to be the targets of the allegation, whatever their origin, taking the position that we have decided that we are innocent. That's unacceptable, Mr. Speaker. Unacceptable. I'm hearing from my colleague from Togo and Iran who have a lot to say, whether I'm prepared to resign. I don't resign when I've done my job well. The mentality is that if the police goes to court with a case against somebody and the case is not won, he should resign. Good idea. Yeah, to please you. To please you. Mr. Speaker, this country is in serious trouble. When the majority of people are predisposed to believing that this is the kind of thing that the government can and will do. And Mr. Speaker, in this country today, there are journalists who are afraid of this government, who are hiding their work in places away from where they live because they are afraid. Only recently, Mr. Speaker, I'm aware of two situations where a journalist has been stalked to the door, and another one who is of the view that the reason why 3 gunmen came to her door is because she was working on a particular story. It may or may not be so, but that is the view of people in the media because they are working in deep, swift, dark currents in Trinidad and Tobago. Understand that? You all can say what you want to. This country is not in this room of the Parliament chamber. This country is on the streets outside where the real world lives. And where the real world lives, they attempt to kill this off with a half-baked investigation by a police commissioner who has not distinguished himself by investigating anything. It's unsatisfactory to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and the government must take note. The first thing we have to do, Mr. Speaker, to begin to re-establish confidence in Trinidad and Tobago and its governance structure is to properly and transparently commit ourselves to investigating this matter through a mechanism that is quite acceptable to the majority of people of Trinidad and Tobago. And if the government does anything less, it will be signaling to the country of Trinidad and Tobago that its behavior with Section 34, of which this is a connected part, is how it intends to run this country until it gets out of office. It's the same Prime Minister who flatly refused, Mr. Speaker, to respond properly to a president who has put specific questions to her. Right? I'm not bringing it in, but I'm saying it's a fact of life on the streets in this country. Mr. Speaker, even as we listened to the member for St. Joseph yesterday, and he poured his heart out over his own pain.
As the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, the Prime Minister has not responded properly to his inquiries.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not engaging the Prime Minister in this.
Okay.
The Prime Minister has failed. The Prime Minister against whom this motion has been directed, named in the motion, has failed to enter the debate, to make any comment in her defense, so I'm not engaging her in my 2 minutes. Mr. Speaker, all that I'm saying, this country could take this as a joke. This country could take this as a joke. They could not see the self-serving statements of the government in its defense. They could take it as something par for the course on a 9-day wonder. But I'll tell you one thing. If this is not properly handled, it will remain a stain of discord in Trinidad and Tobago for as long as we live in this country. As a government, allegations which point from whatever source, credible source, might not be credible to them, but the burden, the doubt, the corroboration of some of the events indicate to the average person that this is not to be dismissed lightly. Nothing short of a proper investigation, Mr. President, will satisfy the circumstances in Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing short of that. Mr. Speaker, here is the government hiding behind the fact that Thomas, in one of the emails, it was my interpretation that Thomas could have been talking about Thomas. It turns out there's another Thomas. There's another Thomas. It's not a question of true or untrue. We are left to interpret and make the connection. We are left.
Member for Davao, you may withdraw that word.
Withdrawn, sir.
And could you just cool it?
I'm trying to.
Yeah, cool it. Honourable Leader of the Opposition, continue, please. Continue. You have 5 more minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, so here the government defense. You say, look, it's not Thomas Bitton. There's no Thomas there. That doesn't clear up anything. It doesn't exonerate you. We all have been left to interpret these emails. Mr. Speaker, it is you from your chair while not entering the debate, had to point out to the member for Orapooch East that this is not theatre, your own words. They think it is theatre. So here it is, serious matters of state where the government stands accused by unnamed people who see it fit to extract what they think we should know. And it is left to us to determine whether we say we don't want to know or we wanted to know. And I put the question again to you, Mr. Speaker, as we come to the end of this debate. Would you have preferred not to have known anything about this? Or now that you know, you want the matter investigated? Having taken it to the President's office, expecting that the Integrity Commission will kick in and use the powers of that law to appear in front of people who are the subject of the correspondence. Next thing I know, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister is waging a public campaign about her advice to the outgoing President, don't appoint an Integrity Commission. While the Privy Council has ruled already, the Privy Council has ruled that any office holder could act up until the last day you're in office. But the Prime Minister's Senior Counsel, whatever that means, is leading a public campaign on a consultation where she told the President not to appoint a commission. He consulted me too. I didn't go public with my recommendations or my consultation, but the Prime Minister did. The outgoing President, fearing controversy, apparently didn't do it. We now have a new President in office. There is still no Integrity Commission. So all the powers of this act is as if we don't have it. And in the meantime, we have this burning problem, which for us is a problem, and for them is a joke, but no Integrity Commission to proceed to use the powers of this act to bring an understanding for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That's what we have today. And if for that, Mr. Speaker, I have been roasted, then I would have done my job according to my oath of office to act without fear of favor, without malice or ill will. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.